dear friend, Cantor Phil Barron, and it is our privilege to welcome you to Kabbalat Shabbat. This is the beginning of Shabbat Shirah, a very special Shabbat, a Shabbat of song, of celebration, of redemption, and it is a wonderful time to have a celebration. It's gray and nasty outside here in California. Across the country, it is snowing and raining and blowing. It's almost impossible to get a vaccine shot. Did you get yours yet, Phil? No, it's here in LA. If you get the appointment, you then go and wait in line for several hours. Though I got mine, I got really lucky, and I'm hoping I can get the next one. So listen, there's a lot to be depressed about, but this is a Shabbos that reminds us that the world is filled with possibilities, that the world is filled with the seeds of redemption, with the seeds of saving lives, with the seeds of hope, with the seeds of a possible future that we can foresee and we can pray for. So this Shabbos, we join in song together. A very special Kabbalat Shabbat tonight with Cantor Barron, very special Kabbalat Shabbat with all of you. A Shabbat Shalom, let it be a Shabbos of peace. Cantor. Unmute yourself, please. You have to unmute. There you go, so we can hear you.
Oh, tricky.
There's an old joke about a mute cantor, but I think that this is better.
Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Hasharet, Malachei Elyon, Mi Melech Malachei Hamlochim, HaKadosh, Baruch Hu. Boachem l'shalom, Malachei Hashalom, Malachei Elyon, Mi Melech Malachei Hamlochim, HaKadosh, Baruch Hu. Baruch Hu Nil Shalom, Malachei Shalom, Malachei Elyon, Mi Melech Malachei Hamlakim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Baruch Hu Nil Shalom, Malachei Shalom, Malachei Elyon, Mi Melech Malachei Hamlakim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Tzedchem Shalom, Malachei Hashalom, Malachei Elyon, Mi Melech Malachei Hamlakim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Yay la 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 la, yay la 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 la, yay la 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 la, yay la 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 la. Hey la 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 la, yay la 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 la, hey la 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 la, hey la 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 la. Tzedchem Shalom, Malachei Hashalom, Malachei Elyon, Mi Melech Malachei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. And please join on page 13. Yedir nefesh al varachaman, Yedid nefesh al harachaman, Meshochadecha el retzonecha, Meshochadecha la 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 el retzonecha. Yedid nefesh al harachaman, Yedid nefesh al harachaman, Meshochadecha el retzonecha, Meshochadecha la 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 el retzonecha. Yarot Avdecha Kemo Ayol Ishtachav Eloi Loi Loi Lai 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 El Muladarecha Ishtachav Eloi Loi Loi Ya La La Lai 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 El Muladarecha. Page 15. Lechu neranena ladonai nariel netzur yishenu nikadma fanav betoda bizmirot narialo lechu neranena ladonai Lechun ranena, ladonai. Naria letsuri shenu nikadma fana vitoda. Naria letsuri shenu rabizamirot narialo. Lechun ranena, ladonai. Lechun ranena, ladonai. Ki el gadol Adonai, umelech gadol al kol Elohim. Ki el gadol Adonai, melech gadol al kol Elohim. Lechun ranena, ladonai. Lechun ranena, ladonai. Arba'im shana hakut benor, ve'omaram to'ele bavhem, ve'hem lo yadu dirachai. Asher nishbati ve'api, im yivon el menuchati. Please join us on page 18. Yiram hayamu melu. Yiram hayamu melu. Tevel ve'yoshveiva. Yiram hayamu melu. Yiram hayamu melu. Yiram hayamu melu. Tevel ve'yoshveiva, Yiram hayamu melu. Neharodim cha'ochav, le, Yacharodim yiraneinu. Neharodim cha'ochav, le, Yacharodim yiraneinu. Yiram hayamu melu. Yiram hayamu melu. Tevel ve'yoshveiva, Yiram hayamu melu. Neharodim cha'ochav, le, Yacharodim yiraneinu. Neharodim cha'ochav, le, Yacharodim yiraneinu. Yiram hayamu melu. Yiram hayamu melu. Tevel ve'yoshveiva, Yiram hayamu melu. Yai dai dai, yai dai dai dai, yai dai dai dai, yai dai dai dai. We're on page 19. Romemo Adonai Eloheinu, Romemo Adonai Romemu Adonai Eloheinu Romemu Romemu Adonai Eloheinu Romemu Romemu Adonai Eloheinu Romemu Romemu Adonai Eloheinu Romemu Ishtachavu lehar konshove Ishtachavu lehar konshove Ki kadosh Adonai Eloheinu Ki kadosh Adonai Eloheinu Romemu Adonai Eloheinu Romemu Romemu Adonai Eloheinu Romemu Romemu Adonai Eloheinu Romemu Romemu Adonai Eloheinu Romemu Yai nai 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 Yai nai 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 Yai dai 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 Yai dai 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 Yai dai 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 Yai dai 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 Yai dai 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 Yai dai 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 Yai dai 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 Yai dai 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 Yai dai 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 Yai dai 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 Havuladonai Bnei Eli Havuladonai Kavon Vaonai Havuladonai Kemon Shemo Hishtachavuladonai Beharat Kodesh Kuladonai Al Hamayim El Hakavod Hakavod Hirin Adonai Al Mayim Rabbi Kol Adonai Bahon Ai Kol Adonai Behadar Kol Adonai Shover Arazim Vayashaver Adonai Et Arzei Halvanon Vayarkirim Kemo Egel Levanon Vesirion Kemo Vemrehimim Lai Kol Adonai Potsem Rabotesh Kol Adonai Yachil Midmar Yachil Adonai Midbar Kadesh Kol Adonai Yechol Elayalod Bayechesod Yeharod Ovehalo Kulo Merkavo Lai Adonai Lamamul Yashava Yishev Adonai Melech Leolam Adonai Oz Lehamo Yiten Adonai Evarech Et Amo Shalom Lai 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 lai
We Jews are well known for our wonderful capacity to kvetch. It's like the Jewish national sport. Someone once said, kvetching is to Jews what oil is to Arabs. It sort of keeps us going. And it begins in this week's Torah portion. Moses takes his people out of Egypt. They cross the Red Sea. They are free. Generations and generations of being slaves, of the humiliation and oppression of slavery come to an end. They cross the Red Sea, and 72 hours, 3 days later, they're kvetching. And what are they kvetching about? They're kvetching about they don't like the food. They can't find enough water. They're kvetching about the smallest, most insignificant physical things in a world where they are given every spiritual gift. And we're good at that. We've always been good kvetches. I mean, the famous Jewish telegram is, start worrying, details will follow, and Abba Ibn, the great diplomat and scholar, once said, we're the only people in the world don't know how to take yes for an answer. That's not who we really are. Kvetching, yes, and there's certainly been enough in Jewish history to kvetch about. But the truth is that the true essence of the Jewish people is joy. And sometimes it's hard to see that, but it's really true. Joy in the ability of a community to survive this long, joy in our relationship with God, joy in learning of Torah, joy in the vision of a world perfected, joy in the celebration of being free, Jewish joy. So at the middle of Kabbalat Shabbat is a song of joy. It recreates a moment that I think all of us, I wish all of us, I hope all of us have had in life. You go to a wedding of someone that you love, and you wait for that moment, after the bride and groom are introduced into the dinner, everyone makes a hora. Put people on chairs and lift them up, and there's a sense of getting lost in the dance, lost in the song, lost in the celebration. You cease being an individual, you become part of a mob, a crowd whose only purpose is to bring happiness, joy to this bride and this groom. Joy, the unmitigated joy of a new life, of a new family, of new love, of new possibilities. That's what's at the heart of the Jewish people. That's what's at the soul of the Jew. And we recreate that on Kabbalat Shabbat with this 16th century hymn on page 21. L'cha dodi likrat kala penei Shabbat nekabala. Come to the wedding, where we will make the world whole. We will sing the song of happiness. We'll feel the joy of life. We'll affirm all the possibilities of being alive. And we'll celebrate in pure and uncompromised joy. L'cha dodi.
L'cha dodi likrat kala penei Shabbat nekabala. L'cha dodi likrat kala penei Shabbat nekabala. Shamor v'zachor b'nei borecha ishmi'anu el hamiuchad Adonai echad u'shemo echad l'shem ultiferet v'litera l'cha dodi likrat kala b'nei Shabbat kavela l'cha dodi likrat kala b'nei Shabbat nikavela likrat Shabbat lechu v'nelcha ki hi mikor ha'veracha merosh mikedem nesucha so ma'aseh b'machshava tefila l'cha dodi likrat kala b'nei Shabbat kavela l'cha dodi likrat kala b'nei Shabbat nikavela. Boi v'shalom ateret bala gam v'simcha u'bzola toch emunei am segula. Boi chala chalodi likrat kala b'nei Shabbat kavela chalodi likrat kala b'nei Shabbat Chadodi, Ligrat Kala, Pani Shabbat, Kavela, Chadodi, Ligrat Kala, Pani Shabbat, Nikavela.
The 92nd Psalm is designated Mizmor Shir L'Yom HaShabbos. There's not a word about Sabbath in the Psalm itself, but the whole Psalm is Shabbosdik. The whole Psalm is about Shabbat. It begins with the word Tov, which means good. It begins with the word Tov, and it says, Tov lahodot l'Adonai l'zamer l'shimcha elyon. It is good to give thanks to God. It begins with the word Tov. Now just consider that. Most of us begin the day with a different word. The alarm clock goes off, our heads still hurt, we'd like to get 10 more minutes of sleep, we have to wake up. We don't say Tov. Most of us go through the day, we don't say Tov. Most of us forget during the course of a day, struggles at work and all of the business of a family and all of the things that need to get done, and then turn on the news and you listen to what goes on in the world, and the last thing you think in the world is Tov. And the psalmist says, no, that's no way to live. You have to learn how to say Tov. You've got to see the blessings that are yours. You've got to see all of the treasures, the gems of life that are embedded in the course of a day's routine. You've got to learn how to say Tov. And if you do, there's a beautiful promise at the end of the psalm. Tzaddik katamar yifrach ke'eres balvanon yiskeh. You'll be a tzaddik who always flowers and has fruit and is never old. And then he finishes the psalm with these wonderful words, O Yenuva b'seva d'sheni miranin you. You'll never go old because you'll always have something to look forward to. You'll always be planning something. You'll always be creating something. Lahagid ki ashar Adonai suri v'lo avlatabo. And on your very last day in the world, you gather your great-great-grandchildren around a bed, and they're going to ask you, Bobbe, Zayde, Nu Taka, was it worth it? And you're going to say, Tov, it was good. It was good. To be able to say Tov, to be able to have gratitude for the gifts of life, for the treasures of life, to be able to experience wonder in the moments of life, to be able to apprehend the blessings that are ours, is the only way to make it through this world. And that's what Shabbos is for. Put away the weapons of the economy, to put away the role of boss or employee, to put away all of that and be a human being, engaging with one another, engaging with God, and finding all the blessings of life. Tov lehodot l'Adonai u'lezamer l'shimcha elyon. It is good to sing. Cantor, lead us in song.
Tov lehodot l'Adonai u'lezamer l'shimcha elyon. Tov lehodot l'Adonai u'lezamer l'shimcha elyon. Lai la 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 lai, yai lai 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 la 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 lai, lai lai lai, lai 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 la 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 lai, yai lai 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 la lai 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 lai. Lehagid baboker chastecha, ve'emunatcha balelot. Alei asor, alei navel, alei higayim v'chinor. Yai la 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 lai, lai lai, lai 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 la 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 lai, lai lai lai, yai lai lai la 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 lai, yai lai 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 la lai 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 lai. The thoughtless cannot comprehend you. The foolish cannot know the one. The wicked may flourish and spring up like grass, but they wilt in the light of the sun. Yai da 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 dai 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 da 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 dai. Dai 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 da 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 dai. Dai 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 da dai 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 dai. Your enemies, they all will crumble, but the righteous will stand like a palm. In the house of the Lord you will grow straight and tall, like a cedar in far Lebanon. Ay da 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 day, 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 da 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 day, 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 ay day, day, da 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 day. Day, 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 da day, 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 day. O Genuvun beseva, Teshenim v'ra'ananim hiu, Ki agid le'agid, Ki yashar Adonai, Tzuri v'lo avlatamo, Yai da 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 dai, Dai 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 da 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 dai, Dai 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 da 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 dai, Dai 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 da dai 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 dai.
We ask those who recite the Kaddish in memory of loved ones, observance of Yartzeit, to join us now, to rise and gather in the memories of the ones you love. Hold them close, hear their voices and feel their presence, and share the words of Kaddish with us. Yitkadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah, v'alma divrach chirutei v'yamlich malchutei v'chayechon v'yamechon v'chayei dechol Beit Yisrael, bagalau v'zman kariv v'yimru amen. Yehei shmei Rabbah mevarach le'olam al-me'almaya, yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitramam v'yitnasei, v'yithadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal shemei dekucha brichu, Ve'ela min kol birchata v'shirata tushbechata v'nechamata. Damiran be'alma v'yimru amen. Yehei shlama rabba min shamaya. V'chayim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'yimru amen. Oseh shalom b'mromav. Hu yaseh shalom aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'yimru amen. And now everyone is invited to rise and join as we begin the Ma'ariv prayers on page 28. Baruch hu et Adonai hamvorach.
Yada dai dai dai, 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 yada dai dai dai. Baruch hu et Adonai hamvorach. Baruch Adonai HaMevorach Le'olam Va'ed. Yada dai dai dai, 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 yada dai dai dai. Baruch Adonai HaMevorach Le'olam Va'ed. Umavir yom umevi laila, umavdil ben yom uvein laila, Adonai tzivahot shemo. El chai v'kayam tamid yimloch aleinu le'olam va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai Ha'ma'ariv Haravi. Ahavat olam Beit Yisrael Amcha Torah u'mitzvot u'mishpatim otanu limadeta. Al kein Adonai Eloheinu v'shovenu u'vekumeinu nasiach v'chukecha ונשמח בדברי תורתך ובמצוותיך לעולם ועד. כי הם חיינו באורך ימינו, באורך ימינו, ובהם נגה יומם ולילה. ואהבתך אל תסיר ממנו לעולמים, ברוך אתה אדוני אוהב עמו ישראל. Let's join together for Shema on page 30. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך, והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך, ושיננתם לבניך, ודיברת בם בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ובשוכבך ובקומך, וקשרתם להיות על ידיך, והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובישעריך. Please continue silently or join me at the top of page 31. ויאמר אדוני אל משה לאמור, דבר אל בני ישראל, ואמרת עליהם, ועשו להם ציצית על כנפי בגדיהם לדורותם, ונתנו על ציצית הכנף בטיל תכלת, והיה לכם לציצית, וראיתם אותו, וזכרתם את כל מצוות אדוני, ועשיתם אותם, ולא תטורו אחרי לבבכם ואחרי עיניכם, אשר אתם זונים אחריהם, למען תזכרו, ועשיתם את כל מצוותי, והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים, להיות לכם לאלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אדוני אלוהיכם, אמת.
We were slaves in the land of Egypt. We were slaves in the land of Egypt, and our parents were slaves, and their parents were slaves, and their parents were slaves, and we had no hope. But that our children might have it maybe a little easier than we did as slaves in the land of Egypt. We were exiled to Babylon. We were victims of the Crusades. We were expelled from every country in Europe. We were victims of the pogroms. We were inmates in concentration camps, and we prayed for something better. And sometimes that something better came. We stood at the banks of the Red Sea and we said to Moses, what, there weren't enough graves to kill us out here? And Moses said, just watch. Just watch. And he held his arm above the sea, and the sea split, and we ran across to the other side to be free. My Uncle Henry was an inmate at the Auschwitz concentration camp. They took 3,500 men from the camp and marched them from Poland into Germany ahead of the advancing Russian army, and they put them in an out camp of the Buchenwald camp. And there, one night, they heard all of the commotion of the last days of the war, and in the morning as the sun rose, they heard heavy footsteps on the barracks, on the barrack ramp up to the door, and a giant boot smashed in the door, and they thought they were going to die when they heard a man speaking Yiddish in an Oklahoma accent, an American GI who liberated him. We found those moments of liberation, and we live for those moments of liberation. They're too few in Jewish history, it's true, but we live for them because those moments of liberation open windows to the possibilities of life, that life can yet have hope, that suffering can find an end, that redemption might yet come, that the world might yet be accepting, loving, gentle, better than it is. And that's the God that we worship, a God who came across the sea with us out of Egypt, a God who took us out of Auschwitz and brought us to America and gave us a life, a God who said, dream, and I will be with you to dream. And that's what our ancestors sang. And the song we're about to sing is the song we will sing tomorrow morning in the Torah portion. There's none like you, God, among all that is worshipped in the world, because you are a God who stands with the weak against the powerful, stands for justice, even when justice is so hard to find. You're the God who gives hope. You're the God who promises that today is okay, but tomorrow can be better. And tomorrow can be superseded by the day after that. What is, will be. Ahiyeh asher ahiyeh, you told us. And so we pray to that God. And tonight we sing the song of the sea, as we'll sing it tomorrow morning in the Torah. Tonight we sing that song and we feel hope. For those getting vaccines, for those getting better, for those coming back to life, for those fighting for life, we pray for all of them. Michamocha ba'elim Adonai, dear God, don't let us give up hope. Cantor.
Adonai himno play olam ba'el lai 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 me chamocha ba'elim Adonai me chamocha nedanva Kodesh mi chamocha ba'elim Adonai norate lo osei vele lai 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 ונאמר כי פדה אדוני את יעקב וגאלו מיד חזק ממנו ברוך אתה אדוני גאל ישראל.
We pray tonight for a night of peace and a morning of renewal. Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu l'shalom. Let us lie down tonight in peace. V'amidenu malkenu l'chaim, and raise us up in the morning to life. Ufros aleinu sukat shlomecha. Spread above us a shelter of your peace. V'tachnenu bi'etzat tova milfanecha v'hoshienu l'man shemecha v'yagen bi'adenu v'yaser me'aleinu oyev dever v'cherev v'ra v'yagon. Remove all that frightens us, all that takes away the peace of the night. V'yaser satan milfanenu me'achrenu b'tzel kanafecha tastirenu ki el shomrenu matzilenu ata ki amelach hanun barachum ata. Guard us when we leave and when we come back. Guard us today and guard us always. Baruch atah Adonai, Apore Sukkot Shalom Aleinu V'al Kol Amo Yisrael V'al Yerushalayim. We rise all together, V'shamru B'nei Yisrael, the commandment of the Torah to keep the Holy Shabbos.
Bnei Yisrael et HaShabbat, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. ביני ובין בני ישראל אותי לעולם. ביני ובין בני ישראל אותי לעולם. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. כי ששת ימים עשה אדוני את השמיים ואת הארץ, ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. וביום השביעי שבת ויהי נפש, שבת ויהי נפש, שבת ויהי נפש. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. יתגדל ויתקדש שמי רבה, בעלמא דברה חירותי וימליך מלכותי, בחייכון וביומכון ובחיי דכל בית ישראל, בעגלה ובזמן קריב, ויאמרו אמן. יהי שמי רבה מבורך לעולם ולעלמי עלמיה. יתברך וישתבח, ויתפאר ויתרומם ויתנשא ויתהדר ויתהלל שמי דקודשא בריחו לעילה מן כל ברכתה ושירתה, תושבחתה ונחמתה, דמירם בעלמא, ויאמרו Amen.
Take a few moments now for personal quiet prayer. The words of the Amidar found on page 35, or a few quiet moments of prayer from your own heart, reflecting on this day, this week that has passed, and on the peace of Shabbos that is about to begin. Just a few quiet moments of prayer, please. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha v'al kol yoshvei tevel tasim leolam. Ki atah melech adon lekol shalom. Bring great peace to our people and to the people of all the world. If you, God, are the source of peace, Tov be'enecha levarech et amcha Yisrael b'chol eit u'b'chol shah b'shlemecha. May it always be good in your sight, God, to bless us with your peace. Baruch atah Adonai, hamivarech et amo Yisrael b'shalom.
Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Ki ata hu melech Adon lechol hashalom. Ki ata hu melech Adon lechol hashalom. Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. V'tov einecha levarech et Amcha Yisrael b'chol eit u'echol shah Kishlomecha. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Tasim Leolam. Tasim Leolam.
Kaddish. He wants to sound like that.
Vayechon uvyamechon chedchol beit Yisrael v'agalau b'zman kariv v'himru Yehesh me'ira v'mevorach le'olam u'lal me'olmayo Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpar v'yitrumam yinaseh v'yithadar v'yitaleh v'yitalon shemei d'kudisho Leila min kol b'grer v'shirata tush b'gada v'nechemata damiram yama v'himru Tikabal tzlur hon about hold the whole Israel kodam avan b'shmaya v'himru Yehi shlama rabba min shemayim v'chayim alin vel kol Israel v'himru O se shalom imroma buya se shalom Aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'himru Amen Aleinu l'shabeach l'adon hakol לתת גדולה ליוצא בראשית שלא עשנו כגויי הארצות ולא שמנו כמשפחות האדמה שלא שם חלקנו כהם וגורלנו ככל המונם ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים קוראים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא שנותן שמיים ושמיים. ככתוב בתורתך אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד ושמו
This Shabbos, we gather to remember loved ones, to observe Yartzeit. We ask those who recite the Kaddish in memory of loved ones or observing Yartzeit this Shabbos to rise and to join and gather in the memories of the ones that you love and care for, hold their presence dear and close to you, and share the words of Kaddish. Yitgadal v'yitkadash shemei rabbah, v'yalmad divrach irutei v'yamlich malchutei, B'chayechon uvyomechon, Chaye dechol Beit Yisrael, Ba'agala v'zman kariv yimru Amen. Yehi Shmei Rabba Mevarach Le'olam Olmei Olmaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitmam v'yitnatzeh. V'yitadar v'yitaler v'yitalal Shemei Dekudsha Brichu. Le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata, tushbechata v'nechemata, da'amiran be'alma v'yimru Amen. Yehi shlam araba min shemaya, v'chayim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'yimru Amen. Oseh shalom bimromav, hu yaseh shalom aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'yimru
Amen.
Amen. I want to wish everyone Shabbat Shalom and welcome with all of our hearts to this wonderful Kabbalat Shabbat. Thank you, Cantor Phil, for davening with us this evening. And thank you to everyone who's joined us here on Zoom, on Facebook, and on YouTube for this wonderful Shabbat Shirah, Shabbos of song. In just a few moments, we'll conclude our service with closing prayers, with Kiddush and with candles and with song. But following the service, we offer a very special, because it's the Shabbos of song, because it's Shabbat Shirah. And were we able to be in the synagogue tonight, we would gather for a wonderful program of music of some kind. Tonight, Cantor Phil, what do you got for us? You have to unmute because we can't hear you. Unmute. Try it again. Attaboy.
I don't know how I got muted. I didn't touch it, honest. Anyhow, hi everyone, Shabbat Shalom. So right after the service, there'll be almost an hour of lovely Shabbat music that I pulled from a lot of the contemporary artists that are out there, from Nava Tehillah and from the music at Hadar, also from Nefesh Mountain, and from the Moshav Band, and of course from Valley Bet Shalom. So we mixed in a whole bunch of our own tunes, really nice recordings, along with some contemporary music that's out there. It's perfect. It's very mellow. So everything is aimed at just having a nice Shabbat, and you can play it during dinner. You can play it while you're relaxing this evening, and I hope you enjoy it. It's the best we can do in these times, but I think that it's a nice selection of music for you. So enjoy that.
Where can we find this, Cantor Phil?
If you go to vbs.org and go to the At Home section, and you scroll down to the schedule, and you'll see tonight's service. And then right below tonight's service, there's a link right to that music program.
So tonight, you're welcome, following our service, to go to the vbs.org, go to the At Home button, scroll down the calendar, and you'll find the link for Cantor Barron's mixtape of beautiful contemporary Shabbos music. And it's guaranteed to raise your spirits, to lower your blood pressure, and to bring peace to your heart. God willing, it'll bring peace to the world as well. So we'll pray for you and join us for that wonderful music. You can, and by the way, it's available all Shabbos, right? And I mean, if we can't get to it tonight, we can watch it tomorrow, right? You're still muted, Phil, but whatever you said, I think you said. That's good.
It's just where he's
it's fine.
standing.
It's
That's
fine.
the problem. Yeah.
Can you hear me?
Tomorrow morning, Shabbos Shira, Shabbat Parshat Bishalach, Torah study at 9 o'clock. At 10 o'clock, your choice. Either the congregational service, there's a bar mitzvah at the shul tomorrow. Daniel Maya is having his bar mitzvah, right? Or the Neshama Minyan, led by Rabbi Nina,
Yay.
a wonderful musical spiritual minyan led by the women of our congregation at 10 o'clock right here on Facebook, YouTube, Facebook or YouTube. Look on the VBS at Home button and you'll find it all there. Following Neshama, any member of the Neshama Minyan, or anyone who'd like to be with the Neshama Minyan, or even if you like Neshama Minyans, you're able to join on a Zoom to schmooze, talk about the themes of the service, talk about what's going on in the world, and enjoy a little community time following the service. Tomorrow as well, following the service, Rabbi Hillel Silverman has a few words about this week's Torah portion. Havdalah tomorrow night at 6 o'clock. Everyone is invited to that. Minyans Sunday morning at 8:30, every weekday morning at 7:30, every evening at 5 o'clock until it gets a little bit later, and then we'll announce that soon. Wednesday afternoon, lunch and learn at 12:30, and then in the evening, our series on Jewish Life Awakens. So lots to do this week, to learn and to grow and to be together as a community. Cantor, give us a little candles and a little Kiddush action as we finish our service together.
Ay day 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 day. Yay day 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 day. Yay day 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 day. Yay day 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 day. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam Asher kirshanu b'mitzvotav b'mitzvotav V'tzivanu v'tzivanu lehadlik ner V'tzivanu v'tzivanu lehadlik ner V'tzivanu v'tzivanu lehadlik ner Shel Shabbat Yai da 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 Yai da 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 Yai da 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 Yai da 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 Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei peri hagafen Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu v'shabbat konsho v'ahavahu v'ratzon hinchilanu zikaron lema'aseh v'reishit Ki hu yom tehila lemikrae kodesh zecher litziat mitzrayim kivanu v'acharta v'otanu kidashta mikol ha'amim b'shabbat kodshecha b'ahava uvratzon hinchaltanu Baruch atah Adonai Mekadesh HaShabbat. Adon Olam Asher Malach B'terem Kol Yitzir Nivra Li'et Nasa V'chepso Kol Azai Melech Shemon Nikra Beyado Avkir Ruchi V'en Tishan Ve'ayra Ve'im Ruchi Geviati Adonai Li Ve'lo'ira Adon Olam Asher Malach B'terem kol yitzir nivra Li'et nasa v'chepso kol Azai melech shemo nikra Sing with me Adon olam asher malach B'terem kol yitzir nivra Li'et nasa v'chepso kol Adai melech shemo nikra Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom.